Hey all, welcome back to Sim Race's Journey. In this video, we're reviewing another older title, Dirt Rally 2.0. We're actually working our way through some of the older titles right now. We did the Project Cars 2 review here not too long ago, so check down below for the link to that one. But this is Dirt Rally 2.0 today. It was first released in February of 2019, and it's widely regarded as the best rally sim out there. I don't have much to compare it with since rallying is pretty much new and unfamiliar to me, so I really don't have a lot to say, whether it's super realistic or not, but it feels good and everything like that, but we'll get into more of that. Our usual format for these reviews of weather, AI, graphics, pit stops, and gameplay or intangibles won't cut it for this review, at least in its usual format. So we're going to kind of push through just the game, and we'll comment on all those different facets as we go through it and let you know what we think. So anyhow, we'll do our best to cover it the same way, so at least it's kind of cohesive with our regular format. But let's dig into Dirt Rally 2.0. So, like I said, it's going to be a little bit different than we usually go through it. But first, since we always cover weather first, we'll touch on that real quick and just see how you can set up weather. If you're racing in most of the modes, except for custom, which is what we'll do today, like if you're in historic, time trial, FIA World Rallycross, etc., etc., or if you are on my team, the weather's predetermined for you. You don't get a vote. It's just what it is. But for the sake of exploring the weather, so we can do the review of it, we'll go to free play, then over here to custom, then over here to create championship. And this is kind of a cool event, a kind of cool thing too. And this kind of goes with the intangibles, the gameplay, is that you can set up a whole custom championship with the different rally tracks around the world. You can have the different stages because all the tracks have different stages in them. You can have different times of day and weather and things like that. So we'll add an event here, and we will go to the rally track or stages in Poland, and I'm not going to even try and pronounce it Lite. Maybe I did. I guess I just did. But so we'll select that. And one of the other things, again, while we're on some of the intangibles, if you look in the sort of the top of the screen towards the left-hand side there, it has something called surface degradation settings. And you have a choice between authentic, optimal, off, or full. And what it's simulating is that how much the track gets beat up over the course of all the different drivers, all the different cars running. So if you've got a field of 150 cars and you're starting 120th, 130th, that track's going to be a mess. If you're starting in the top 5 or 10, the track's going to be in much better shape. So that's something you can set up there too, as well as vehicle class. It's just some options that way. So anyhow, we're going to go with full surface degradation, H1. Those are the slower cars, and that's really appropriate for me because this game is hard to get used to. So anyhow, let's go back here, and I'll show you where the weather comes in. Right there, second line. Night, cloudy, dry surface. So we'll go down there. Night, heavy rain, wet surface. So that'll be our first stage. And you can see over here it's an 8.3 mile track, about a 70-foot elevation change, surface type dirt, and smooth asphalt. So that's how you add stages. And like I say, you can just add another one, and you just go through and you just add all the stages that you want, up to a total of 12. And like I say, you can hop around the globe if you want. You could do them all in one environment, because like I said, there's a lot of different stages contained in each environment. So that's sort of the free play. It's pretty cool. I mean, you have a fair amount of control over what you're doing that way. So about ready to start. Like I say, I select the slowest, easiest cars to drive because it's less embarrassing that way. Because like I say, it's hard. So we had a choice between a Mini, a Citroen, and a Lancia. I've been driving the Lancia me and my co-driver, which we'll get into the co-driver here in a little bit. You'll hear him very soon. So we'll pick that for our car, and we're getting ready to go. So here we are. It's raining. It's night. And let's get going. Graphics are pretty good. I mean, I'm kind of impressed by them. Co-driver. The rain looks pretty good.
3, 2, 1, go. 6 right long, opens over crest 30. Flat right and flat left over crest 120.
Okay, he's giving us, we're going to slow down a little bit. The turns are, he gives you a heads up on what's coming.
60.
6 being the pretty gentle turn, a 1 being the sharpest turn besides a hairpin.
6 right over crest 50. Slow 6 left 30, turn hairpin right around bales.
So we got a hairpin coming up, run some bales.
50.
Whoopsie.
6 left, opens 30. 4 left.
Fans along the way look pretty cool.
Keep middle of a jump. 100. Turn unseen. 4 right long.
Narrow means that the road narrows for some reason.
30. Flat middle of a jump. 180. 6 left long. Opens of a jump. 30. Opens of a crest. Tarmac. 80 over crest. Slow. Unseen. Turn 1 left.
And you notice I run into something there. I'm missing a headlight. And
200. Right entry, chicane.
we have no headlights. So that's a little bit of the rain at night. No headlights, don't like that. And we're going to be disqualified if we don't get moving here in 25 seconds. But we're done with this part. That was the rain. So now we're going to attempt to take a look at the AI. It's really hard because a couple of things. You're not on the track with the other cars, obviously. It's a rally. So you can't really differentiate between lowest AI and highest AI and how it feels between those two while you're driving alongside of them. That's one part. The other part would be yours truly, the driver, because sometimes I will have a pretty good stage. Not very good, but I think out of 30, 19 might be my high water mark, 18. But I'm very inconsistent. So I could set the AI really low and do really awful and, finish 27th. And then I could set the AI very high and have a really good stage and finish 27th. So it's hard to really assess the AI in any logical way, shape, or form. Just a heads up. So that's what we're going to do. And we won't take you along for all the driving in this because it will be just boring. And you don't need that. But we will, at the end of it, sort of assess based on the stage times and things like that, our best shot at what we think of the AI is. So this is to be a run on the lowest AI, and then we'll do a run on the same track at the highest AI. Just give you a little bit of a chance to You don't have, we're not going to obviously show you the whole stage, but just a little bit, and then see how we do at the end, and then we'll go to the highest AI and go through the same thing a little bit on the stage and a little bit of a summary on it. And hopefully, like I say, we can compare AI. But like I say, I'm so inconsistent that that's a big if. So anyhow, here we go.
2, 1, go. 80, don't cut, 4 left. 30, turn unseen, 2 left around Bale, cobbles. Don't cut, 3 right, 3 left, and 1 right, tightens around Bale, cobbles. 30, 1 right, don't cut, 2 left. 40, turn 2 left around Bale, tarmac. Keep left over 160. Turn unseen, don't cut, 3 right long, tightens 2. 30, flat left long. 30,
Specifically wanted one that had more tarmac than usual,
left long. 50,
because it sort of evens out my results,
50,
increases my consistency.
50, 6 right long, opens of a jump. To long crest and flat, 6 right, opens of a jump. Into 6 left.
Illusion of speed is pretty good in this.
50, flat crest and 6 left long of a crest. Into 6 right, opens of a crest. Into 6 left long of a crest, 100. 80. 5 right of a dip. And finish into 6 left to stop. Well done.
And that's that stage on the lowest AI, which obviously affects nothing on track because it's all me, except for an 11-second penalty. That was one of my best runs ever.
On this road section.
So let's see how we did.
Car and tires.
Yeah, let's check the car and tires. Probably a good idea. So I finished 9th. I can deal with that. That's the best I've ever done. And if you look at the splits here, split 1, I'm the highest in this screen. Let's see if we, okay, so I had a 144.48, a 140.09 is the only one that beat me. Split 2, 127, there's a 124, 126, but very competitive. Split 2. Split 3, I think that's where I had my 11-second penalty. And so I'm not even remotely competitive with the front runners. And then split 4, a 132.6, 27, which is the fastest time. So AI in the lowest, except for one split. And let's see, what would that 11 seconds off my time would have put me to 6:22. I'd have been, well, let's see, let's figure it out exactly. 6:22.83, 6:22. Ooh, I'd have been in 4th place by 300ths of a second, 3,000ths of a second. So anyhow, lowest AI, I can be somewhat competitive. I just have to forget, I get myself in trouble and get penalties. Let's go crank the AI up. Same stage. So we got the AI at 100. Let's see. I'm pretty sure I won't get 9th, or I'll be surprised if I'm not last.
3, 2, 1, go. 80, don't cut, 4 left. 30, turn unseen, 2 left around Bale, 50, 6 left long, 50, 6 right long, up to a jump. Good.
So we had
But let's
16
check the
seconds in
times.
penalties. We'll subtract them just so the penalties aren't part of it because we're trying to just measure the AI. And so, okay, instead of 9th, I finished 15th. And so, splits. Let's go back here for a second. So if I subtract 16 seconds from my time, it says 6:54, 6:38. So right now it looks like about 10th place. Before I would have been in 4th place minus the my penalty there. So from 10th to 4th, that's the difference. And again, my inconsistency sort of changes it up a little bit. But I would say that, yeah, especially on this track, it was a lot easier for me to drive. But there is a difference in AI. I have no idea how they behave on the track because you never get to see them on the track. But that is AI in Dirt Racing 2.0. So now we're going to look at graphics. Again, it's going to be a lot different than what we usually do. We usually do an on-track race. But you can see from this, I mean, they're good. They're real good. I mean, the three-dimensionality, if there is such a word as that, but if there isn't, there really ought to be, of most of the characters is pretty good. The animation of them is pretty good. The scenery looks pretty sharp. Trees look pretty good. It's not super, but again, this is a last gen title. First came out just about 3 years ago. But like I say, we usually do an on-track test with other cars, so you can sort of see how the visuals are there, and then we do a slow drive around of the track and comment on various sundry things along the way, be it spectators or buildings or vehicles or scenery or whatever. So in this there is no on-track with cars except the rallycross, and that just doesn't, that's a disaster for me. The graphics there are pretty good. We'll just do a slow drive down a country lane in New England in the fall and see just what the graphics look like. So here we are.
Starts 5 right
We're gonna
long, opens over
be
crest
on
50,
our
good
way.
up.
We're not going to try very hard. My co-driver will probably be wondering what I'm doing, why I'm going so slow. Just wave to the fans.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
But the fans
Right
look good.
long, opens over crest 50.
I mean, the scenery looks
Right
good.
over jumps into don't cut 4 left long.
Trees look good. I mean, it's pretty convincing actually.
And flat 6 right long.
People along the side
130.
look pretty good. Oops. I'm not paying attention to where I'm going.
Keep middle of a crest. Into 6 right. And keep right over
There's
200.
my buddy. Some of the pine trees are looking a little bit flat as you roll up on them. They render much better as you get closer. A typical thing with the trees in this. Vehicles over here. People over here look pretty good. Like I said, the spectators
Into 6
look
left long.
very convincing.
Into 5 right long. Into 6 left of a crest. 80.
Pick up the pace a little bit. The road surfaces are very well rendered.
6 left. 120. 6 left of a crest. Into caution for right long tightens.
Building looks good. Just driving by the neighbors there.
6 left of a dip.
So, the graphics I would give good marks to. fencing and things like that.
5 right of a
Well
crest,
done.
extra long. Opens of a crest 50.
Anyhow, pretty high marks for graphics. Okay, so this is about as close to a pit stop as we're going to get. If you look in the left, upper left corner of the screen, you've got start, which will just put us on the track as is. And if you look at the car, probably not our best plan because it's night and we have no headlights. Repair vehicle, we'll dig into that in a minute. Tires, tuned vehicle. You've got a lot of options. And it gives you sort of an explanation of them. But I never mess with that because I simply don't understand it at all. But you've got alignment, brakes, differential, and like I said, little explanations of it over there. Gearing, damping, and springs. So, like I say, I don't understand it. And railing isn't my thing, so I may never understand it. But there's a lot of options there. And so they're available anyways. Tires, we're going to put on a new set of mediums. And up here to repair vehicle. So, recommended repairs. Hit Y, and it wants us to replace the radiator. It says don't worry about the bodywork. Wants us to replace the lights, and you can see that of the time we had, the 30 minutes that we had, those two repairs were used up 19 minutes and 27 seconds. If we go up here to the bodywork, and if we were to fix it, we would exceed the time allowed by 5 minutes and a second and incur a 50-second penalty. And when you look at the stages, they generally run, I mean, they're pretty quick. So a 50-second penalty is devastating. So we will not fix the bodywork per their recommendations. And we hit confirm repairs. And just like that, give or take the bodywork, our car is fixed and ready to go for the night. So that's our review of Dirt Rally 2.0. As we mentioned in the intro, it doesn't fit in real well with our usual format for reviewing sims, but we took our best shot at it, and we were able to cover all the different things: weather, AI, graphics, pit stops, and gameplay or the intangibles, the things that don't fit into a convenient box. As we go through just our thoughts on it here, remember this is a little over a 3-year-old title. It was designed for the last gen consoles, so bear that in mind, as we review things like graphics and so forth. And also, we're not particularly knowledgeable about rallying. It's very new area to me. I just don't, I know a little bit, that's all, just a little bit. So anyhow, weather. Visually, the weather is pretty good in this game, this sim. You can't change it in My Team, which is like the career mode, but you can in both time trials and custom under free play. That said, you have two kinds of weather, not rain and rain. That's it. Those are your choices. You don't have that spectrum of rain like some of the other sims provide, so that's something to keep in mind from that point of view. I couldn't discern any difference in the way it drove in the rainy part. Visually, it's harder to see. That makes sense. Again, I think they underplay it. But as far as how the car handled, I couldn't discern any difference. But again, that might be me. I'm just not very familiar with this type of driving, and so it's hard to know. And so weather, like I say, overall weather was pretty good. AI, another one that just doesn't fit conveniently into our normal way of doing things. We always gauge AI on track with other cars. Here, you never see, except in Rallycross, and we didn't really get into that in this review at all. you never see another car on the stage when you're on it. You go out and do your thing, and you're done. And then these other cars race mystically. I mean, they generate times, and that's that. But we did, as you saw, we set the AI to 0. I was much more competitive. Factoring out penalties, I think I would have finished 4th. Then we set the AI at max and factoring out penalties. I think I was 12th or 13th or 10th. I don't quite remember exactly, but so the AI, you can measure it from that point of view, but you don't have that usual, do they drive like morons? I mean, Amazon. That's a whole thing that doesn't fit into the AI part of this. Graphics are pretty good for a title this old. Pretty impressive. The trees, that seems to be a sticking point of mine, are trees in Sims. Look pretty good at times, and other times they look really bizarre. But the graphics overall are very well done. The people alongside the course, the stage, are very well done. Your co-driver sitting next to you is well done. The sensation of speed is extremely good. Part of that, I think, is because you're on basically a one-track, narrow road for a lot of it, or stage for a lot of it. And there's trees and rocks and all this kind of stuff whizzing by you. So the graphics, I thought they did a good job on them. Pit stops, there aren't any. The closest thing you get to a pit stop is what you saw, where we had done a stage and we busted out the headlights, and I forget what else had happened. I think we had some bodywork issues and something else. And you have the opportunity to repair those things. So that is, I guess, the closest to a pit stop. There's no visual. It's just you get a list of what's broken, you pick what you want to fix, and you press a button, and it fixes it for you, and you go on to the next stage. So much for pit stops. Intangibles. Intangibles is sort of we collect all the odds and ends that don't fit into a convenient box and talk about them. But in this case, we'll start with the My Team part. My Team is, it's basically the career mode. You pick your car, you pick your class, you start to build your team, you can compete in these events. They're pre-planned out for you. You accumulate credits. With those credits, you can hire more staff, engineers, race engineers, things like that. You can enhance the performance of your car and things like that, or buy new cars. And so far, that's where we spent probably the most time overall. And it's pretty cool. I mean, it's fun. That's a pretty cool feature. Free play has, let's flip to that screen here. It has 6 different parts under free play. There's historic, which is basically just what it sounds like. You go through time, and you have to achieve a top 3 finish in one of the races to move on to the next level. And what you do is you go through from older cars, probably in the 60s, maybe 70s, on up to very current rally cars. So that's pretty cool. Time trials, just what it sounds like. It's just you competing against the time. FIA World Rallycross Championship. Again, like I say, we didn't get into that much, but it takes you through a championship season of Rallycross. And free roam, it's like, oh gosh, is this like Forza Horizon? No. You get to free roam at what they call Dirtfish. So be it. That's free roam. And RaceNet clubs. RaceNet clubs are just online clubs. You can start your own club. You can join a club. You can put together championships and things like that. So that's one part of the intangibles. Like I say, I really like the My Team, and I like the custom mode where you get to create the races that you want. One of the other big intangibles, and it's the only sim I've ever seen it in, the only other one that might have it would be WRC, is the co-driver. It's odd. The co-drivers are straight up odd, but it's very, very helpful. You have to learn the lingo, and we have a link down below that addresses specifically what exactly is this guy talking about, because he'll tell you how tight the turns are using a numbered system, 6 being the easiest turn to a 1 being the sharpest turn, and then there's squares and hairpins, and a lot of other information, of which I've not quite understood that or taken the time to understand that, but it is a very big help if you dig into it. Like I say, I know how tight the corners are apart, and I know if there's a bump, a dip, or a jump coming. That's it. It's good enough for me. And then he also has this, he always has an inane comment at the end of the stage. That felt good. We should check the tires. Things like that. But that's the co-driver. But like I say, you really need to learn the language, if you will. Force feedback seems a bit numb, lack of road feel, but that could be me again. I don't know what a rally car is supposed to feel like on a stage, but I couldn't sense any like when I was starting to slide, I couldn't really sense that. Oh, that brings me up to another point though. A handbrake would be really useful in this in certain parts. And all this has, I don't have a handbrake for my rig, so I have to press the B button on my wheel. And sometimes you're turning the wheel so far and you're trying to press the B button, and it's pretty impractical that way. But it's a lot of fun. Give it a definite thumbs up. We really liked it. It's very different from the other sims we're used to. It's very challenging for sure. It's very cool to be bombing down this dirt road at night at just full speed. And then you bump into a little something, and the next thing you know, you've rolled over 3 times. But yeah, definitely a lot of fun. So, like I said, definite thumbs up for Dirt Rally 2.0. Did some checking around to see if there was a Dirt Rally 3.0 in the works. Haven't seen anything about it. Again, they are a Codemaster product. Codemaster is now owned by Electronic Arts. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And like I said, down below we have a link to some other information on Dirt Rally 2.0 that might be useful to you, especially if you're coming from the more traditional racing sims, which take place on tarmac, to this, which takes place in the woods, on the dirt. So check those links out. And drop us a comment if you're a Dirt Rally 2.0 fan, what you like about it. Maybe what you don't like about it. If you're familiar with rallies, unlike us here at Sim Racer's Journey, maybe let us know how close this is. Is this a good sim for rallies? From what I've been able to do in my research, it seems like this is probably the best sim out there for rallies. But how does it stack up to real rallying? So anyhow, that's it for Dirt Rally 2.0. If you like what you're seeing here in Sim Racer's Journey, please like and subscribe down below. As always, our links down there to our gear and everything like that. There's something that we believe in, we trust. We wouldn't do it any other way. And also, we don't make a penny on any of it. It's just there for your information. So that's it. We will see you next time on Sim Racer's Journey.